Hello people, this is a video directed towards a user called SupportTNAWrestling. He left a comment on my channel. I'll probably provide, you can just go look at my channel and see the comments that I've exchanged with him. He came onto my channel 23 hours ago at the time of making this video, basically saying, TNA is awesome. And I responded to him saying, are you going to say something to support that? Or do you just like going around randomly making absurd claims? To which he responded, and I'm reading it now, that's why I'm clicking and stuff. But TNA's awesome, buddy, and comment, made a new comment before I'd respond to that. Prove otherwise. And I responded to him with, you're the one making the claim, the burden of proof falls on you, not me. You can't just say TNA is awesome because you can't prove it isn't. It's fucking absurd, end quote, from me. And he responded with, and this is maybe the most unintentionally funny comments I've read on YouTube in quite a while. I don't mean that to, make him seem like an idiot. It just really is quite funny, but stupid at the same time. So yes, maybe he does look like an idiot from saying this. I've already proved it, man. Look at the matches, the storylines, the characters. Everything adds up to an amazing product that no promotion can touch in the world. No one has rebutted my points because they are true. Plus, ratings are up 15% and buy rates have almost doubled in the past few months, almost beating SummerSlam. Okay, I'll just start from the top here. I don't know any other way to really approach this. I've already proved it, man, from SupportTNAWrestling. To who? You haven't proved it to me. This is the first encounter I've had to you. So saying you've already proved it means nothing to me. You have no videos up on YouTube. You haven't left any other comments on my videos or on my channel, other than saying TNA is awesome. This is the most you've done to prove your point so far. And so, okay, look at the matches, the storylines, the characters. The matches, let's look at the matches. The matches are good on pay-per-view. They are good, I will admit that. They are quite good. But on TV, they either aren't given enough time or they're given a gimmick that makes no sense. Like they're putting an Ultimate X match on free TV for no reason, or a ladder match on free TV for no reason, and then they do a regular match to follow up the ladder match at the pay-per-view. It should be the other way around. They do a match on free TV, and then they do a ladder match on the pay-per-view, because people are more likely to want to buy something like a ladder match. But whatever. The characters are basically just think you mean the wrestlers or the roster. And I will admit, yes, they have the best roster in the world, at least in North America. It is quite an impressive roster of current stars, talented wrestlers, established older stars, I guess you'd say, and some of the biggest draws in professional wrestling history, which makes me ponder the question, how come they aren't drawing more in both? No, okay, I'll leave it because it comes back to what you were saying later on, and I'll talk about that later. But I will say this, from a personal standpoint, Kurt Angle was previously one of my favorite. Actually, he was my favorite wrestler at the point he left WWE to go to TNA. It's 2010. I still think he's a fantastic wrestler, very talented, but the way he's been booked for a long time, I have no interest in him. Despite his talent, he's probably been used better than a lot of people in TNA, historically speaking, but I just have no interest in seeing him anymore. Maybe I just outgrew him. But then there's Desmond Wolfe, formerly known as Nigel McGuinness. Now, Nigel McGuinness, at one point in Ring of Honor, was my favourite wrestler. Yet, it's only like 12 months since he came to TNA, and I have no interest in seeing him anymore. He was that good in the ring, that good on the mic in Ring of Honor, I felt. I was always compelled to watch him, but now in TNA, he just feels like a mid-card geek that like he could leave and nobody would notice. They made a guy who, in my mind, could only be beaten by main event talent in TNA, and that's how they started him off, being beaten by Kurt Angle, but making him look very competitive, and then just went, alright, well, he's done with this thing with Kurt Angle, let's just have him job to everyone now. And so he's just in a tag team. Wow, they really did a lot with that. It was quite weak, actually. And he says, everything adds up to an amazing product. Well, the thing is, you've said look at the matches, the storylines, the characters, but you haven't actually explained why the matches, the storylines, and the characters are good. You've just said, look at them, they're amazing, no other promotion in the world can touch it. So, everything adds up to an amazing product that no promotion can touch in the world. There's lots of promotions that I think can touch them in regards to matches and storylines, really. You don't have to really look that far. I mean, if you like TNA's style of wrestling, you can find wrestling that's just as good, if not better, in many other promotions. If you like gimmick wrestling, then maybe not, but I don't think there's many promotions that really do gimmick wrestling as bad as TNA. And when I say bad, I mean as illogically as TNA. They just do these gimmick matches for the sake of doing them. I don't know why. Your next sentence was, next point really, no one has rebutted my points because they are true. Nobody has rebutted the point that I have a penguin living in my ass. But that doesn't mean it's true. Nobody has rebutted the point that Santa Claus is living in my shed. But that doesn't make it true. You see what I'm getting at here? You can make a claim, but just because nobody has rebutted it doesn't mean it's true. It just means nobody has rebutted it, okay? Pretty simple. Plus ratings were up 15% and buy rates have doubled in the past few months, almost beating SummerSlam. I'll just start with the ratings. They're up 15%. Okay, 15% from what? From when? The past 2 weeks, the past 3 months, the past 6 months, the past 12 months. Which is it? I don't know. You haven't provided any context for this or a source for the 15% jump in buy rates, in ratings. What am I supposed to do with that? I can't argue that if I don't know the source, if I don't know from what time period you're talking, because I can say annually, this year, the average TNA ratings are down, and they are. Last year, they were around 1.2, 1.3. They were getting an average of about 2 million viewers. Now they're doing 1.5 million viewers. They went, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that they went head-to-head with Raw and got thrashed, and now they're only recovering from it slowly. If the fans were that diehard, that they wouldn't have lost that much of their audience. I mean, they did an all-time high rating this year, very early this year, I believe it was, the January 4th show, for a segment. I think that was 3 million viewers. Now they're doing half of that. Something's not really right there. If it's that good, then it should be doing higher ratings on a more consistent basis, and they probably wouldn't have done an all-time low rating. I think it was about a 0.4 or a 0.5 against Raw. If it's just that amazing a product, it should be doing a lot better than it is in the ratings. Onto the buy rates, and buy rates have almost doubled in the past few months, almost beating SummerSlam. Do you know what TNA's, or do you know what WWE's buy rates are? Do you know what SummerSlam's buy rate was? Do you know what their TNA's highest pay-per-view buy rates have been historically? Their highest, I think, was 60,000 to 75,000. I believe that was for Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle in the MMA-styled match. And even if you double their highest, that's their highest, you'd still only get 120 to 150,000 buys, which still doesn't come close to SummerSlam. I don't know why that is. But in fact, I think that this is the most absurd claim, the one about the buy rates. It's also the one that nobody can really disprove you on, and you can't prove it either. You don't have a source for it. I have a source, at least, for my rebuttal of that claim, and then I'll be making an argument absent of my source. I'll just be looking at it mathematically, and yeah, I'll get into it. Anyway, this is from the September 21st Figure 4 Weekly newsletter. It's talking about ECW reunion shows. And it says, the TNA EV 2.0 pay-per-view in August, Hardcore Justice, did a better than average buy rate for a TNA show, though keep in mind the average going into the show was approximately 8,000 buys per month. 8,000. If you double 8,000, you have 16,000. If you double that again, you have 32,000. I'm pretty sure SummerSlam has done a lot more than 32,000 domestically within the United States. So really, I don't buy into that. Another thing another reason why I don't buy into this whole their buy rates are almost beating SummerSlam is because, well, they're doing 1.5 million viewers, right? Right. WWE's doing 5 million viewers, correct? Yet, really, for TNA to do the same buy rate as the WWE, they'd have to convert a much larger percentage of their audience. So let's say 200,000, viewers, but buys per pay-per-view for 1.5 million viewers. That's quite a large percentage, and I don't think anybody has really done that in the history of wrestling. Had 1.5 million viewers and done 200,000 buys. I mean, ECW in its prime didn't even do that. So I'm calling bullshit on that. And if the buy rates were almost beating SummerSlam, if there was that much buzz around TNA as a product, where the pay-per-view buy rates were almost doing that of SummerSlam, then really shouldn't there be more people turning up to their live shows? I'm talking their house shows, their pay-per-view. Well, obviously they're not going to turn up to, how come they're not running shows outside the Impact Zone? If they're doing that well from a buy rate perspective, why don't they take it on the road again like they did a few years back and run shows in actual arenas again? I'll tell you why, because last time they did it, it wasn't financially viable. And this time, it would be less financially viable because they know that there's less buzz around the product. That's why they're not doing it. Last year's Bound for Glory did an atrocious number. They did their biggest pay-per-view of the year in California, Sting's hometown, and in a building that could seat 5,000 people, they only sold 800 tickets. And they had, including people that got in for free, 2,400 people in there. So they didn't even fill the building halfway, and they didn't even sell they didn't sell 20% of their potential seats that they could have. So it doesn't. Your numbers don't really add up, and that's also from the Wrestling Observer /Figure 4 Weekly online, and you can actually see on their pay-per-views a half-empty building, even though they do quite a good job of blocking things off. Another thing that really confuses me, once again, if TNA was doing this well in terms of fan support, how come they were supposed to be doing a house show here in Melbourne in February, I believe it was, and they cancelled it. And I remember looking up why they cancelled it, and it was apparently because of low ticket sales. I mean, they were going to run Rod Laver Arena, which WWE typically does, and they sell it out usually. Last time I was there was a few empty seats, but not that many. And then they cancelled the Melbourne show, or the Australian house shows, and they said, oh, we're just postponing them and then we'll do them another time. They haven't announced any new dates. Bullshit. They realised they couldn't run here. There was not enough interest in TNA as a company. Anyway, that's the end of it. I'm calling bullshit on the pay-per-view buy rates. I don't see how that can be consistent with the numbers we do know. We don't know the buy rates, absolutely, but they don't add up with the TV ratings or the show attendances. So I'm calling bullshit on that. But I can't expect you to sit there and objectively look at TNA, because I mean your username is SupportTNAWrestling. Obviously you have a pro TNA bias, so I don't know what I don't think anything I'm going to say will actually sway your opinion in any way possible. And I just saw Ichiban Pro Res, who everyone should subscribe to. God, I'm pimping him a lot. Left a comment, and it says, at SupportTNAWrestling, I'm really happy for you that you can love TNA and all. And that's not me being snide, but if you think that what you offered is anything like a good critical aesthetic justification for saying TNA is the best wrestling promotion, then you're off your rocker. Even if buy rates were up 4 million% and everyone in the world bought the pay-per-view, why are the matches good? Why are the storylines good? So he raised an excellent point. You need to provide evidence as to why you think X, Y, and Z is good, as opposed to numbers, which can easily be disputed, which I just have. Anyway, that's me. Bye.